We are at a crossroads. Here we stand at the start of our adult lives, and that doesn't mean it's the start of our talk. For that, we have to look through millennia of our own human history. Can you see it? See how we have progressed from mere animals to sentient beings capable of self-actualization and change. We have been carried by invention throughout our entire history. And how were we able to achieve this Herculean feat? Creation. Yes, creation. A word, an action, as closely tied to our own humanity as death is to life. Creation is the ability to take your ideas, experiences, emotions, and completely unrelated tools in your own natural world to make something. Something made with blood, sweat, and tears. In other words, made with passion. An AI program like ChatGPT may be able to generate an image or a paragraph, but it isn't creating it because it's not coming from the inner need to create. That inner need is something that is inherently human and something that puts us separate from anything else in this world. So, we're people in a creative society, but how can we be creative people? For some of you, your answer may be, I can't. I simply am not a creative individual. And I get it. It's tough for you. You have to work so hard every day. You live in such a tough time. You always have to be the best. You always have to succeed in something. And if you aren't good enough for it, then too bad. Try something else. Well, maybe that doesn't have to be it. Maybe this need that we've all heard is just a function of our society and its quest to create mindless drones. And we know we aren't mindless drones because not every one of us is the exact same. Not nearly the same, in fact. So to those of you who say you're not creative, politely, you're wrong. Are you not a human being? Are you not alive right now? If you answered correctly on both of these questions, then congratulations, you are creative. But we're not done yet. You can have lots of different creative outlets, like music, theater, filmmaking, writing, or the fine arts. You don't have to be polite about that. It's quite bad. I'm not good at drawing, but I don't have to be good at everything. And that's important. Now, creativity is something that everyone can possess, even if they may not think it at first. Ever made a snide remark after an annoying day? You created that remark. Ever had a problem and solved it using your own skill sets? You creatively solved that problem. Creativity really thrives in the smallest parts of life, and it can have an excellent appliance in your future too. In a pre-COVID LinkedIn study, creativity was listed as the #1 soft skill for career success. Now, a soft skill is basically any skill that affects your ability to get the job done. And employers will typically look at it in the hiring process. So, with a grand level of importance like this, I find it a little bit hilarious that our own society is trying to shackle our inner creative skills. And how do I know it's shackling? Well, from an infamous 1968 NASA study, 4 to 5-year-olds tested in the genius level of creativity 98% of the time. Only 2% were not genius level. Now, of the 300,000... My makeshift mic, it's like... Yeah, this thing like projects, but it doesn't record, so I'm just gonna do this. Of the 300... double miking, God. Of the 300,000 adults who were tested, only 2% were in the top genius percentile. That is a 96% drop-off. That's insane. Now, of the 15-year-old age group, 12% were in genius level. That's a little bit better, but we're still doing worse than literal preschoolers. And isn't that a little sad? Well, if we want to try to do something to fix this, might I suggest Creativity 101, available for a one-time purchase of $49.95 on top of a $20 monthly payment, not to mention the material costs and the cost to take the prerequisite Creativity 001. So, any buyers?
Me.
Not enough. This is crazy. Fine. For a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, I will share to all of you all of the skills that I, myself, have learned in my journey to be a creative individual for free. That's right, free. F-R-E-E, free. First off, use what you know. You can't expect yourself to literally manifest something from nothing. In our entire society, no one has ever created something entirely new. Even Grug the caveman used a stone when he invented the wheel. All the great creators of the past have taken from generations before them. So, when you want to create something, look to your own life. And some of you may be thinking, well, I don't have any interesting things going on in my life. Well, guess what? I myself also live quite an uninteresting life, but I've still been able to create things. For example, one of my favorite characters from my award-winning public access sketch comedy show on WinCam, support public access, by the way, Mr. Bob. This guy was based on a former teacher of mine. I'm not saying who, but it is true. My film festival accepted short from middle school was a parody of bottled water commercials, as you can see. Smart water, eat your heart out. And I also wrote a chapter of a sci-fi novel, which was featured in part in the literary magazine, because I read this one article about AI art, and I was like, isn't that something? So yeah, it doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be completely originally you. It just has to be something that you see. And if you still can't think of anything, look inside yourself, which takes me to my next point. Putting yourself into your work. You have the opportunity to take the straightest path to your inner thoughts, motivations, desires, emotions. So take it. Any creative work needs a spark. You are that spark. Not everyone can create something the way you can create it. Because when you say you've finished a task, you can say, I did it. And someone else could have done that exact same task, and they could have done that exact same thing. But creation is unique. When you create something, you can say to yourself, I did that. I made that. That was me. I am the only person out of the 8 billion people on this earth who could have created this, made this, the exact way that I did. And that's a beautiful feeling. Now, my final point here, it doesn't have to be perfect. Perfection is notoriously the enemy of completion, and it's also unattainable. You sometimes just have to get your ideas out there. I mean, look at this talk. This was not expected, this whole issue, but we make do. And I'm not saying don't put effort in. I'm just saying get a part of yourself out into that great cycle of creation. Allow yourself to affect this cycle of ideas, thoughts, emotions, art. And in the end, it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be you. And as long as all of you can be you, as long as you in the back, you over there, you. As long as all of you can be you, then everyone is creative. Thank you.